Good morning, everybody. What is going on? Welcome to my official preview and predictions video for Royal Rumble 2020 tonight from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, January the 26th, 2020. It's the 33rd annual Royal Rumble event, one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year, the official kickoff to the road to WrestleMania 36 in Tampa Bay. So we got the card pulled up here. We have a total of 8 matches on this card. I'm expecting 2 of these to be moved to the pre-show, so we'll start from the bottom and then work our way to the top here. The 2 matches that I expect to be on the pre-show, at least how I would book it, are Shorty G versus Sheamus. I think that's going to be an easy win for Sheamus here. I haven't been watching Smackdown. I know Sheamus did come back here on the, it says here, the January 3rd episode of Smackdown, and he delivered a bro kick to him. And the two are scheduled to have a match. So, as much as I love Chad, I'm going to call him Chad Gable. I hate the Shorty G shit. I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid. I would love to see him get the win, but it's Sheamus. He's back. So, more than likely, he's going to be picking up the win here. Next match here, I think, will be on the undercard here on the pre-show. Is going to be Andrade Cien Almas versus Humberto Carrillo. I thought, Andrade and Ray had a really nice ladder match. Some sloppy spots in there, but for the most part, was easily the highlight of what I thought was a solid episode of Raw this past week for the go-home edition of the Rumble. For the Rumble, I should say. And Humberto Carrillo returned in a mask and attacked Andrade, who had previously laid out Humberto Carrillo and injured him. Did a hammerlock DDT on Carrillo to the exposed concrete floor. Apparently, we're going to have a match between these two. I don't see Carrillo winning. I really want to see Andrade hold that title at least for a long time, at least until WrestleMania. That's how I would book it here. But I think that'll be the other match that we will see on the pre-show. Because, you look at the card here. 8 matches. Last year I had an issue with this runtime. The Rumble went 4 hours, and the pay-per-view went 4 hours and 40 minutes. This year, I hope they don't do that. Last year, we had 10 matches, with 3 on the pre-show. So that's 7 right there. So here's how ideally it should be. You have 2 matches on the pre-show. That cuts down to 6. Because you think the Rumble's going to go an hour. Both Rumbles are going to go an hour. So that's 2 right there. And then you would have, the other 4 matches to do on the underneath that. So you could open with a Women's Rumble. What I actually think will open the show here is going to be the Falls Count Anywhere match with Roman Reigns versus King Corbin. Because they're both... Why we're doing another match? Again, you didn't really need to do this match. But whatever, we're doing a Falls Count Anywhere match. They could actually have some fun with this stipulation, seeing as how they're in a baseball field. So maybe you can go into the dugout. Maybe they could brawl throughout the stage and, go wild with it. Because this feud between Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin is just not been lighting the world on fire for me. It hasn't got me to tune into SmackDown. So the quicker that they are finished with this feud, I feel the better. I would like to see Roman Reigns win just to put this feud to rest. Unfortunately, I think he's going to lose this match, and I'll tell you why later. But I think King Corbin will pick up the win here against Roman Reigns in this Falls Count Anywhere match. We then have Bayley versus Lacey Evans for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Keep in mind, guys, I have not been watching SmackDown. God, I can't remember. The last episode of SmackDown that I watched was in November. That episode after the Saudi show where they had to bring the NXT guys and girls onto the show. I thought that was a really strong show. Since then, honestly, it's on a Friday. I honestly forget about it, and I felt like Raw, it's not been great, but it has been putting on better shows than SmackDown. The stuff with Rollins and AOP. And Buddy Murphy now. Andrade and Ray tearing it up in the ladder match. Becky and Asuka, I've been enjoying their work, and we'll talk about them in a bit. But I feel like Raw has been giving me more than SmackDown has, and I just kind of feel like SmackDown just kind of stuck on autopilot. It's just been the same matches and the same combinations. They're mixing it up. It's a 6-man tag. It's a tag, but it's just like, it's just not enough for me to tune in on a weekly basis. But we have Bayley versus Lacey Evans here. I think that Bayley will retain. I know they're pushing Lacey Evans here as a babyface, so it'll be interesting to see where they go in that direction. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about this because, like I said, I haven't been watching that much of SmackDown. Let's get into the next match here on the card. Speaking of the women, Becky Lynch versus Asuka in a rematch for the Raw Women's Championship. Of course, last year at Royal Rumble 2019, I thought Becky and Asuka had a killer match to open the main card for the Royal Rumble for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Went 17 minutes and 10 seconds. And, of course, in that match, we had Becky Lynch submit to the Asuka lock. And Asuka retained her SmackDown Women's Championship. Come full circle here. I like the fact that they're playing up that, is Asuka inside Becky Lynch's head? Becky has that doubt. Can she be able to beat Asuka? Now, there's two scenarios here that you could do. You could have, Asuka beat Becky and then do Becky and Asuka 3 at WrestleMania if you really wanted to. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Becky's going to win here. And whoever wins the Women's Royal Rumble match is going to be Becky's challenger at WrestleMania. And I'll say my prediction for who I think is going to win the Women's Royal Rumble. But I think these two are going to have a stellar match. They have great chemistry. Glad they're putting Asuka in, a high-profile championship match here. Who knows? Maybe this will kick off the show. They kicked off the show last year. Wouldn't be surprised if they did the same this year. But I'm really looking forward to Becky Lynch versus Asuka. We have The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, versus Daniel Bryan here for the Universal Championship in a strap match. It's been a long time since we've seen a strap match in which competitors are placed on the opposite ends of a restraint to keep them in close physical proximity. By definition, the strap and anything tied to it are considered legal and in-play weapons. Usually the common rule for victory is for one wrestler to have to go around the ring touching all 4 corners in order without stopping, although they can also end in pinfalls. It's been, like I said, I can't remember the last time we had a strap match in WWE. Interesting stipulation here. They said in storyline Bryan chose the strap match here, so the Fiend could not run away like he has been doing here. And I'll never forget, I went back and watched it. Royal Rumble 2014. I was in the building that night. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. PPG Paints Arena. Daniel Bryan. I got a sneeze coming on here. I'm trying to hold it. Daniel Bryan. And Bray Wyatt. I thought they had the best match of Bray Wyatt's career. Still, to this day, I love that match. It was really, really good. So, yeah, all in all, I'm looking forward to seeing how they work the strap match stipulation here. So we'll see where that goes. But I don't think there's any other outcome here other than The Fiend retaining his WWE Universal Championship here. So I think we see The Fiend retain, and we'll see who challenges him at WrestleMania 36. And then we get into our 2 Royal Rumble matches. Let's first start with the Women's Royal Rumble match, which I felt has been very lackluster in terms of build here. Apparently, as of today, there are only 7 announced entrants. You heard me right, 7. Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Sarah Logan, Natalya, Carmella, and Dana Brooke. So have 23 spots to fill here. As far as who I think's gonna win the Royal Rumble match, I think it could. Let me try that again. I think it could come down to a couple likely scenarios here. You could have Shayna Baszler make her debut, her official debut on the main roster, win the Royal Rumble, and challenge Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Another scenario that I have: Sasha Banks wins the Royal Rumble, challenges Bayley at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's Championship. However, my pick, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. My pick to win the Women's Royal Rumble match: a returning Ronda Rousey. We never got the one-on-one match with her and Becky Lynch. Becky beat Ronda at WrestleMania last year. There is money and a story to tell there. It's still the match that I would like to see. I know some people don't like Ronda Rousey. I thought she did tremendous in her year with WWE. She was there. She committed to it. She didn't do like a Brock Lesnar shtick. She put in the work, and I thought she improved, week after week after week, in only a year's time. So I would like to see Ronda come back here and win the Women's Royal Rumble. Do I think it's going to happen? Well, anything can happen. That's what I really like about the Royal Rumble. The fact that we have 23 unannounced, participants in this Women's Royal Rumble match makes you wonder here. But I'm going out on a limb here and picking Ronda Rousey to win the Women's Royal Rumble match. And now let's get into the Men's Royal Rumble match. We have 27 of the 30 entrants have been announced. We have Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, who will be entering as number 1, AJ Styles, Eric Rowan, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Elias, King Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, Otis, Tucker, Rusev, Bobby Lashley, Aleister Black, Buddy Murphy, Braun Strowman, Shinsuke Nakamura, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, Kofi Kingston, Big E, R-Truth, John Morrison, and The Miz. I'm looking forward to what they do with Kofi Kingston, and I would love to see it be Kofi Kingston be the one to get retribution over Brock Lesnar and have him dump Brock out of the Rumble. But I have a feeling they're going to have Cain Velasquez come in, eliminate Lesnar, and do that match again. I don't care. Whatever. As far as who I think is going to win the Royal Rumble match here, I think there's a couple of different scenarios here. I think it could be Drew McIntyre. I really like how they've been building him up as a face. I think that's been something they've been doing well on Raw the past number of weeks, and the crowd has been getting more and more behind Drew. I really like this promo that he cut after the match he had with Orton. I think it could also be, just looking at the list here, you could do Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe. I would be fine with either of those two guys winning. But I think this year it's going to be Roman Reigns winning his second Royal Rumble, and he will go on to challenge the Fiend at WrestleMania. I'm sticking with my pick, Roman Reigns here, to win and go on to challenge for the Universal Championship. And keep in mind, since coming back on Raw almost a year ago, I believe Reigns has yet to have a championship match or opportunity. So, yeah, that's my pick for the Women's Royal Rumble. I'm picking Ronda Rousey. For the Men's Royal Rumble, I'm picking Roman Reigns here. So that is my predictions and previews for the Royal Rumble, guys, 2020. Be sure to leave your comments, your predictions down below in the comment section for who you think is going to win both matches here. And please click on that like and subscribe button here on youtube.com/DanielGeyser412 for my latest thoughts here. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at DanielGeyser412. I will be back up here, of course, I'll be doing live reactions tonight for the Royal Rumble, so I'll get those posted as soon as they're available, and I'll be posting my review for the Royal Rumble as well. So enjoy the Rumble, guys. Have a great night. It's WrestleMania season, so we're on the road, so we know where all stops lead. So that is it, guys. Thanks for watching this video. I am out. Until next time, thanks for watching.